8 in the Always Sunny in Sayreville League, and you know your league mates all too well. We'll get to that in a minute, but first, injuries. It was another relatively injury-free week in the Always Sunny in Sayreville League. Speaking of free, Devontae Freeman hurt his shoulder, and it caused him to miss some time in the game, but it looks like he should be on track to play in Week 9. However, Chris Hogan's shoulder is a much more serious matter, and it looks like he's going to end up missing a couple weeks. So it looks like the Schwartz is the most recent team to get bitten by the injury bug. High score this week was DeAndre Hopkins, who exploded for 43.4 points for I'm With Stupid, and he was followed closely by teammate Deshaun Watson, who scored 41.8 points, as I'm With Stupid completely dismantled the suddenly slumping Sweep the Leg by a score of 180.3 to 103.5. This was a 76.8 point beating, and it was the highest score of the week, the 180.3, and the second highest score of the year. I'm With Stupid's two top Texans combined for 85.2 points, which was 47% of the team's total score, so I guess you could say they carried the squad. I'm With Stupid is currently second in the league in scoring, but they're also second in the league in points against, which adds up to a 3-5 record, although we know that 7 losses is more or less the drop-dead point for the playoffs, so I'm With Stupid does have a little room left to dance. They do have a pretty rough upcoming schedule down the stretch, but coming out of Week 8, they were definitely the most dangerous sub-500 team in the league, and for that, I'm With Stupid is this week's hero. And the reason that I say coming out of Week 8 is because during the taping of I'm taping Thursday night, during the taping of this update, Deshaun Watson, it turns out, suffered a non-contact knee injury in practice, so that could potentially be a pretty big blow to I'm With Stupid going forward, considering how well Watson was playing. But I'm sure there'll be more information coming out in the coming days, so stay tuned for that. Alright, so honorable mention for the GOAT has to go to Rutherford B. Hazy, scoring 69.2 points, which is the lowest score in the league so far this season, and he had 2 guys in his lineup score 0. So normally on any other regular old weekend, that would be the GOAT all day long. However, this was not a regular weekend, this was a rivalry weekend. And one of the hottest rivalries we have in the league is the Tyler Fight Club versus Beer Muscles rivalry. Last year got pretty hot and heavy, a lot of trash talk back and forth, and we all know how that played out in the end. This year, Bobby J adopted a new strategy, going to be humble, going to be quiet, just going to go about my business, and so far it seems to be working out for him. And on the other side, the normally loquacious Albert from Tyler Fight Club has been conspicuously silent leading up to this matchup. So, I posted a poll question. Do you think that there's going to be trash talk after the Tyler Fight Club Beer Muscles matchup? And for the majority of the week, 4 people had voted. And 1 person voted that they thought Tyler Fight Club would talk trash after the game. Nobody voted that Beer Muscles would talk trash. And 3 people voted that nobody would talk trash. So that was the way that the poll sat all week long. I figured that was going to be the final results until the game got played. After it became evident that Tyler Fight Club was going to win this game, more people voted. In fact, 2 more people voted in the poll and voted that Tyler Fight Club would talk trash. You know your league mates all too well.
How's it going, sports fans? Welcome to this week's edition of Deadwire. Albert Pierre here from the Tyler Fight Club. Had a big matchup this week, and I know we're all very disappointed. My shit talking, especially with Bobby J, has been a little lax. But as things lighten up in the rest of my life, I'll be sure to talk more shit. So, as that little week went by, a 142.5 to 128.6 beating of the Beer Muscles, thanks to one waiver wire in particular. Mr. Albert Wilson, my namesake, if you will. Mr. Albert Wilson did me a huge favor this week. Now, Bobby J, he dropped some other scumbag, kid who only had 2 catches on the whole year, to pick up a guy who only had 17 for the whole year. As a matter of fact, Albert Wilson, not only did he only have 17 catches the whole season, only has 21 targets. I think that's how many Antonio Brown had in the first half of the first game of the year. So, that being said, the best of the best for the best. If I only win one game a year for the rest of my life, I hope it's against Bobby, right? Okay, Bob, you're really, really good at this. Someday you'll make the playoffs. It's going to be great. You're going to love it. So in the meantime, we're going to have a little celebratory rare cask to the face in honor of the worst pickup of the week, scoring him 0 catches for 0 yards, Mr. Albert Wilson. Thanks, Beer Muscles. Nobody likes you more than I do, pal. Cheers. Happy Halloween, everybody. Now that tastes like victory.
So there you have it. He lost the rivalry game with a goose egg on Monday Night Football from some bum, and he must endure yet another year of verbal beatings. And for that, Beer Muscles is this week's GOAT. Okay, so trades. There were no trades in the lead up to the Week 8 games, but there have been 3 trades since the Week 8 games. The first one was between Bootleg Crableg and the Gotham Rogues. Bootleg Crableg sent Hunter Henry to the Gotham Rogues for Sammy Watkins. The next trade was Sweep the Leg, who sent Paul Richardson and Isaiah Crowell to Rutherford B. Hazy for his man crush Drew Brees and Bobby Woods. And the third trade that made it in time for this update was Rusty Strombone, who sent Alvin Kamara to the Toddler Fight Club for Jerick McKinnon and Ted Ginn Jr. Now, the trade deadline is the Wednesday after Week 10 games, which happens to be November 15th. So get your wheeling and dealing done. Now, Albert mentioned the trade block special or the trade block segment last week, and I'm not going to have enough time to do the trade block segment this week. I'm going to be out of town this weekend. I'm going to be out of town next weekend. I don't even know how I'm going to have the time to put this episode out, let alone gather up video and cut it together and yada yada. So I had a different idea. My idea is we have the Facebook page. Let's use the Facebook page. Go on the Sunny Sayreville page, tag Sunny Sayreville, and announce your players that are available for trade. If you have guys that you want to put on the trade block and you want everybody to know, or you want to know everybody to know what you're looking for, make a post, tag Sunny Sayreville on the Sunny Sayreville wall, and everybody can look at it, and you guys can just have conversations, maybe do some negotiations right on Facebook. So we can actually have that communication, but I don't have to go through the whole process of gathering up video from everybody and all that good stuff, because I just don't have the time right now. I'm going to be doing a lot of traveling. So with all that being said, and Narkowitz, since you don't have a Facebook, you can text me and I'll put it on the Facebook so that everybody knows what's going on in case you want to, offer up some players for trade as well. So that's the trade block. Trade block's going to happen on Facebook this year. And we'll see, maybe if that works, we can start doing that in the future as well. Alright guys, key matchups. The first matchup we have to take a look at is a battle between 2 former champions, 2 current division rivals, one of which is the 6-2, the Moth, the new first place team in the league, riding a 5-game winning streak, taking on the 4-4 Toddler Fight Club, who has a little winning streak going on himself. He's got 2 games in a row so far. He just battled back to 500 after a slow start, and he's looking to scratch above 500 for the first time this season. The Moth looking to ride the hot hand, but he's going to have to do it without Ezekiel Elliott, who finally, it looks like, might actually be suspended. I mean, as of the recording of this right now, he's supposed to be suspended, but anything could happen between now and the weekend. And the other key matchup is just going to be a battle between 2 other Porter Division rivals. This is the 5-3 Gotham Rogues taking on the 5-3 Team Blumpkin. 6.5 points separate these 2 teams in the standings. They have the exact same record. 6.5 points separate these 2 teams. This is going to be a battle between 2 projected playoff teams and 2 of the strongest teams in the league. So that's it, guys. Week 8 update over. Remember to set your lineups, remember to vote in the polls, and remember that the trade deadline is right around the corner. And I will see you next week, where it's always sunny.